we celebrate different minds, untold stories, and honest conversations about neurodiversity. I'm your host, Archana, and today we're doing something a little different. I've invited a friend of mine, and she has no lived experience, I would say, with neurodivergence. And she's going to share her honest thoughts, assumptions, and questions about this space. So I'd like to introduce my friend Archana, my namesake, who's my college friend, and I've known her for more than 20 years now. Welcome, Archana. Thank you for being part of this podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. I am really glad to be part of this conversation. I'm not sure what are the questions and what we are going to talk about, but I'm really looking forward.
Yeah. I mean, the Social Spectrum podcast, I'm sure you've been listening to it. We've involved like people on the neurodivergent community, but I wanted to try something different this time and wanted to see a perspective of someone who doesn't belong. I mean, not belong. I would say everyone belongs to this community, but someone who is not have a lived experience. And I would like to know your perspective about this. So, just for example, what comes into your mind when you hear neurodivergence? Is it a term you've heard before or come across before?
Not exactly this term, but there have been a lot of cases since I was growing up, and now also I keep on hearing some stories which are a bit different than what we generally live every day. So it always attracts my attention, and I always think about it. But having said that, we think about it in a moment and then we forget and we kind of move on. So it hasn't impacted my thinking process as much as it should have been, I assume. So
Yeah, I mean, you're correct. I mean, I won't say it should have been. It always comes from personal experience. Like even I think since it had impacted me or it's happening in my life, that's when I've actually come to understand what neurodivergence means. And like you said, when I was growing up, like I've seen it in other families happening it with other children. And at that time, it was like you feel sympathy for the families, but you don't really associate with it or you don't get that empathy feeling. And until actually you face it or you understand about it. So, I mean, this is one of social spectrum's missions to get the awareness out there so that other people actually get to know what everyone is going through if we have to build a more inclusive society. So,
yes. Oh, so
yeah.
what I'll tell you from my experience, like when I was very young, so in my extended family, there were some cousins, kids who were my friends as well, and cousins as well. So when we used to play with them, so they are part of it, but they're not part of it. So we did not really bother where are they, what are they doing, what did they feel while we were playing together. And it never impacted me because I was young. Then we grew up, and then we heard some more extended family that we hear about some children uh, behaving or getting different kind of responses in the society, who are not able to go to a regular school. And it always gives you the feeling, oh god, this is so sad, and then you move on. Probably there was a reason. I mean, I was grown up enough. There is a reason. When you start thinking about it more, then you get responsible as well, that how do you associate with it. You are talking about disassociation, so that's how you kind of disassociate and you move on. Otherwise, it becomes your responsibility for the society. Probably that was the reason during my, when I was younger and when I was a bit older. Now, I know a lot of people very close to me who are facing these challenges with the families, children as well. Like one of my very close cousin, you are my friend for more than 30 years now. And I must admit, I knew about your son's condition. There are so many incidences that we have talked about. But I heard, and you are my best friend, and I heard and I could relate to it at that moment, but later I'll forget about it. I would be it's not, I don't know how to put this forward, but when I heard your podcast, the last 2 or 3 episodes, and when I started hearing the stories first time in the podcast, it hit me really hard. I was not aware of the extent of challenges a child goes through, or the extent of the challenges the whole family and extended family goes through. So that was a very, very awakening moment for me. So I must thank you for bringing this, topic through your podcast. A person like me who is totally connected with you, still I did not know much about it. So this is how awareness is happening, I would say.
Yes, I mean, you had told me that, and I'm really grateful that you've been supported throughout, and you also listen to the podcast, and you can feel that the struggles which I have talked about, because it's real, and I feel that everyone should be aware of that. Because it's important to bridge the gap. There is neurodiverse people, there are neurotypical people, and that's the aim, just to bridge the gap, so that because everyone has to live with each other in society, so they should understand each other better. So, like, if you come to assumptions, there were many assumptions on neurodivergent children, like, they behave a certain way, or even like growing up, I remember that, they used to be like, if you go to the mall, then you would see some children who are throwing tantrums and like crying, and then you probably judge their parents. Like, I have personally judged parents or judged the children, that they're not being getting enough discipline, or they're being extra pampered, or not being like, given a strong no. But sometimes in those cases, it actually is because of some like, they might fall on the spectrum, that there's some underlying need which we didn't understand while growing up. And that is one kind of assumption, that, oh, neurodivergent children, they are naughty, or they don't understand. So is there like any such thing that you heard or seen, or you wondered yourself?
Yes, I mean that's the first thing comes to anybody's mind when you see such situation in public, that, oh, children are, pampered too much. Why are they behaving certain way? Parents should take care of them, or children should be more disciplined. This is the first thing that comes into mind. But if you see the whole spectrum of it, then there are some children, probably they're pampered. I wouldn't say that's not there, but some children are actually facing challenges like what we are discussing. And also there are some more children, I would say, even if they're not part of neurodiversity, there are a lot of problems that they're facing internally. It's not that they could be, I don't know what is the other word of neurodiversity,
No,
yeah,
neurotypical. Yeah.
neurotypical. Even if there are neurotypical children, they also face a lot of different kind of challenges if they are not exposed to the right environment at home, or they are a bit quiet, or they are a bit loner. So they also face a lot of troubles, which can also come out in a different way. So there are different type of children, I'm telling you from my personal experience. So whenever we see that, we tend to judge parents. That's the first thing comes to our mind, that they must be not doing the right thing, which, when we are talking about this topic, now we realize that there is a origin of this situation. We can't just blame children or parent, or so even we can't blame the society. It's very, very natural that people may judge such situations. So how do we bring all these things together to be more empathetic towards these situations? That is the goal. That is the goal should be for us to understand. Actually, understanding will bring harmony between all these kind of situations. So that's how you guys can help us from outside perspective. I can be more aware of these situation, and we wouldn't judge, or we would understand in another way, or we would also participate in helping, or collaborating with the society. How do we take care of such situations or such families, and how do you help them out?
Yeah. I mean, I always say like that, if there's given a choice, just be kind. You don't even have to do anything. It's just, don't judge and just be kind. You never
Yeah.
know what is going on in that family or whatever is happening. What do you think? Like, is society making enough space for people who are different? Like, just say in schools or workplaces, or even public public places.
Oh, and one of my very close cousin, he has a son who is having he's autistic, and they have been facing a lot of troubles with school. The schools, some of the schools don't accept the child. Some of the schools, when they accept, they don't give enough support. So it's not a complaint, it's a reality I'm talking about from my family. And they are, they want their child to get the best education or a good life, even if not the best or top school of that city. But the difficulties they are facing, they are going begging to each and every school. Some schools take it because it is part of their it is part of their school programming that you have to take some neurodiverse children in your school. But the support is still not as much. I mean, some teachers are kind of given to those children. They'll be helping, there'll be extra support teachers. But are they doing enough? Is that enough? Only putting one teacher for few students who will be, or few children who are neurodiverse, and that teacher can, kind of do a magic wand and everything will be fine. It's not going to work with a separate segment. You have to include all the teachers, have to be part of it, or they should be trained, specially trained. So I am telling you this from my personal experience. So my cousin brother and his wife, they have faced this problem personally, and they have shared this with us. That's how I'm just telling you this story. So they always felt if everybody was part of it, it would have been very, very easy ride for her son, and they didn't have to look for another school. So this is how the school system is happening here at the moment.
It's the same everywhere, I feel, even here. I mean, they have an inclusivity program, but they have all those support systems in place, but it's still, even though it's inclusive, it's still not inclusive, because I feel you need to educate, not just, like I said, not just the neurodivergent people. They undergo so much of therapy, but what about the neurotypical? They should also be educated on how to behave with the neurodivergent children, and that can only be done if the whole school is inclusive. I mean, you have special schools as well, but I feel when they grow up, they're finally going to come out in society, they're going to be together. So you need you can't just ignore it as a problem and like, okay, they're in special school, so they're not part of my curriculum, so, and you don't
Yeah.
interact, because when you grow up, when you face society,
Yeah,
they
you have to be part of the same society. You can't be a part of a special society, right? This is
right.
the world which you have to live in. And those children who are younger at the moment, eventually they have to grow up as an adult, and they have to work, they have to earn their living. So, how do we train? So, I have one suggestion which came to my mind. Like, so I know Social Spectrum is totally dedicated for helping such children and parents, and but I would also really recommend that you have another segment where you can also give some fun training, or which can also include some knowledge, some education to a general society, a general school, where all the teachers are also being told about, or awareness in all those because I feel all the parents who are having neurodiverse children, they are already aware, they're reading, they're exploring, they are doing research, they are connecting with such platforms what you are creating. But what about the actual other society? They also have to be participating. So how do you do that? I don't know, from through your Social Spectrum, how can you connect to the neurodirect society as well?
So there are like two ways. Like, one is that we're trying to spread awareness through these podcasts, because these podcasts are available for
Yeah.
everyone. Second is, like, we do social media posts every day, like spreading awareness, and it's again open for everyone. But yeah, the Social Spectrum platform which we have is for connecting families of neurodivergent children. But we are first building this community, because we have to work on this community as well. There are so many people and parents who go into their shell. So we are working on first that we come out as a community, we proudly accept our children in front of everyone, and then we can expect others to accept. So first we have to accept, which we are working on, and then definitely we have to go to schools and even other families and the whole community, so that, to make it more inclusive.
Yes, yes, I understand. That's the one step forward. So eventually this will be required, but yeah, the community first should come together stronger.
So what are the hopes for the future? Like, what do you, if you could make one change for, neurodivergent kids and families, what would it be? Any personal hope or anything that you would wish?
Mhm. You know, when it comes to my mind, the acceptance by society is the main thing. Natural acceptance, not forced.
Yeah, yeah,
That you can feel, oh, I'm great, I'm accepting, but that should not be the goal. The goal should be natural. When
yeah,
your child, when they go to school and there are neurodiverse children around, it should be natural to them to support them if needed, or talk to them, or understand them. I'm not saying be the best friends with them, but and as parents also, the parents who are having difficulties, that don't become like, oh, I want to help you. It should be natural that whenever there is a help required, you are available.
yeah,
So it should be, the whole thing should become natural eventually. So probably your social spectrum, once you grow as a community, and I'm sure and I hope you grow really big, and then the next circle of community starts, which will be training the general society and bringing the awareness, not training them, but bringing awareness, so that it all becomes a natural flow.
yeah. No, I totally resonate with that, because even my belief is it's acceptance. It's just acceptance, like treating people how you would expect to be treated. That's all.
Yes.
Once
Yes.
that happens, then yeah, then we're looking for a much brighter future for our
Right.
kids, for families. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for speaking from your heart, which I knew you would do.
And that brings us to the end of this conversation. A big thank you to my friend for showing up with honesty and openness, because these are the conversations that would help create a kinder and a more understanding world for families like mine and so many others. If you enjoyed this episode or it made you think about things differently, I'd love for you to share it and start a conversation in your own circle. And remember, inclusion isn't a destination, it's a practice, and every little step counts. So until next time, take care, be kind, and let's keep navigating neurodiversity together. Bye.